G'day guys and welcome back to the SuperCoach YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss the remaining 5 practice matches, do a little bit of a team update and a sneak peek at the rookie guide for 2025. So let's jump into the practice matches first. I know my team is on the screen. We'll do a little update after that, after these practice matches. So first one I've got here is Brisbane versus Gold Coast versus Collingwood. So the way this one worked was Brisbane played 2 periods against Collingwood, and there were 2 one-sides played. And then Gold Coast played their ones team against Brisbane's ones team for a quarter, and then it was like ones versus twos, etc. Basically, it was a bit of a mishmash around that. The teams played about 3 quarters of, I'll call it proper footy, where they played their main teams for whoever they brought. So yeah, let's get into it. First thing, Nick Dacos showed absolutely no signs of injury. So I guess if you were interested in Nick Dacos, then that would have been good to see. Ed Allen is a mid-rookie who plays for Collingwood. He was involved in a lot of things, had some CBAs, played a bit of wing. Got to good spots, but he was an awful kick and he's not really an accumulator. So I think he is a pass for me. Next one I've got is Harry Perryman, whose role looks really good. It's like 80% inside mid, well, maybe not 80%, but it's high CBA inside mid. He's definitely one on the watch list for next week and round 0. One I've definitely got my eyes on. Another one with the bye. I'm sort of debating how many of those buy guys you can start in the one line. I think if they're value enough, it doesn't matter. But yeah, some food for thought there. I've got Reef McInnes. He looked okay, but he's not for me. I think he's a little bit expensive. Yeah, 200k. I don't think he makes 150k on that. So Reece McInnes is a no for me. I thought he looked capable as a key defender, playing like that Nathan Murphy sort of role for Collingwood to hopefully allow more to be more of an interceptor, but I don't think he's a SuperCoach pick. The next one I've got is Levi Ashcroft, who did not play against Collingwood in the first 2 quarters. He came on against the Suns. It was the Suns A team, I believe. He got some CBAs, which I'm not really expecting him to get as many CBAs as he did in the season, but he looked very good with the CBAs. He was mostly an outside player, mostly wing and half forward, but he accumulates really well, and he's going to score if he doesn't get subbed. So we get a look in round 0. It's going to be massive for Levi Ashcroft because I'm not sure if he is safe based on the sub risk. But there's a chance he just scores well enough anyway. If he does get subbed, 1 in every 2 or 3 games, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, that's Levi Ashcroft. Dan Houston, he did not get any kick-ins. So that is very interesting. He didn't do a heap, but it is a preseason game, obviously. He did get a CBA at one point. I didn't watch the last 2 periods, the Collingwood versus Gold Coast ones, because they were both playing the 2 sides. Or they took a lot of the ones guys out at the very least. So yeah, I thought that was interesting that no kick-ins for Houston. So yeah, one to watch there. If you're interested in Houston, that would probably rule him out for me. The next one I've got is Bailey Humphrey, which he wasn't on my radar before this game, but with Took Miller out, I think there was someone else in that midfield. Yeah, Sam Flanders out as well. He got a lot of CBAs and he looked really good in it. Attacked the ball really hard, was a great tackler, used the ball pretty well, hit the scoreboard. So how much is he? I think he's 270k. Definitely one to watch in round 0, I think. Add him to your watch list. And then Leo Lombard was really quick, but don't think his role will be very good if he does play. It'll be like high half forward pocket. Did also hurt his shoulder, so I hope he's okay. But yeah, he may not play round 1. Let's move on to Sydney versus GWS. I don't have many notes for this game. It's worth noting that Mills didn't play. He's managing some plantar fasciitis. I think he is still too valued to pass up on, so I wouldn't worry about that. If he plays next week, I definitely wouldn't worry about it. Cody Angove, he is a rookie for the Giants. He's on my mid-bench right now. He was really good. He played wing. He's sort of been a late bolter for a round one start. Did all the good wing things. Positioned really well, decent overhead, decent user. Did make some errors by foot, but mostly was pretty good. First sort of AFL hit out for him, so that's to be expected. He's very skinny, but I think he'll play, and I think he's capable of making the money if he does play. So, Cody Angove, definitely one to pop on your mid-bench for now at M9. Who have I got here? I've got Angus Sheldrick, who he got heaps of CBAs, but there was no Mills in the side. So that's something I'm mindful of. Dean Cox has said that Mills is going to play a lot of midfield minutes. So I'm not sure what happens to their players' CBAs when Mills comes back into the side. But worth noting that Sheldrick was really good with those CBAs and has scoring potential. So definitely one to watch. I've got Toby McMullen here. He got a bunch of CBAs with Tom Green out. I think he's suspended for a couple of games though, so probably not an option, but I could be wrong. And the last one I have for this game is Ben Patton, who he got a bit of ball across halfback early, but played like mostly lockdown. If he is best 22, which I'm not sold on, he's probably a bit of a sub risk, and he may not score very well if he's playing these lockdown roles. So another one we get to look at in round 0. So we can make the call on Ben Patton after that. The next one I've got is Adelaide v Port. I've got Jordan Dawson early. Role looked really good. When he was playing forward, he was like a high half forward coming up to the stoppage. So as a Jordan Dawson owner, I loved to see that. I think he was, I want to check his ownership now. I do that. Dawson. Got to trade. It doesn't matter. Next one I've got here is Sid Draper, who I thought was largely unimpressive. He didn't get a lot of the footy. When he did, he sort of looked to rush and that sort of thing. I'm wondering if he was getting managed, because he has been managed throughout the preseason. He's had some back issues, I want to say. I think he'll play round 1, but I think he could be a massive sub-risk, and I'm not sure that the potential scoring power is there to justify the pick over some of these other expensive guys like O'Driscoll, Sardis, and Ashcroft. So he's not in my team for now. I've got Dan Curtin, who was in my team last video. He was virtually unsighted for the whole match. He played a lot of wing and a bit of forward. Not sure what Nix is doing with Dan Curtin, so I am off that pick. Just on the Adelaide midfield mix, it looked like Crouch, Dawson, and Saligo were the main 3 mids, and James Peatling was the 4th mid. There is still no Isaac Rankin as well, so one to look out for. What happens to Peatling's CBAs when Rankin is in there? There wasn't a lot of CBAs for Peatling, to be honest, in this game, so a little bit of a concern if you're interested in the Peatling pick. The next one I've got is Joe Berry, who I thought was really impressive, got up the ground a lot, and he was really composed for a first-year player. Like, he looks like a kid out there, but he was good with ball in hand, took time. Like, he was really good, really impressed with Joe Berry. So he's on my forward bench for now. And looking forward to getting another look at him next week. I've got Horn Francis here next. Looks like he was getting more mid-time. That seemed to come from Connor Rosie, although I don't have CBA statistics in front of me, so I'm not 100% certain, but that was my read on how that happened. And the way I look at Port's midfield, that does make sense to me. So that's. I'm not sure if I've had Horn Francis the whole preseason, but that's why he's in my side for now. I think the uptick that we've been told he will get for his CBAs is going to happen. The next one I've got is Wayne Miller, who is a massive pod at the moment, who looks really good. Got plenty of ball off halfback, easily enough to score 80 and make a bulk cash. There was no Isaac Cumming, but Cumming's been playing wings, so I'm not sure if that changes next week, because guys like Peatling and Curtin had their role vary a lot between this game and the intra-club game the week earlier. One to watch out for with Miller. But he's in my side for now. I don't love the pick because of the injury history, but I think if he can give me 6 weeks, I'm going to make enough money off him that it's okay. So that's the logic there. I've got Josh Sin next, who did take a couple of kick-ins, but he's not an accumulator whatsoever. and I have absolutely no interest in this pick. He didn't kick well when he kicked as well, so yeah, he's a no from me. Sam Powell-Pepper, he did not much at all, but his role looked pretty good, so that was enough for me to see in that game. We get another look next week as well. I've got Peatling next. I've spoken about him already. I thought he played pretty well when he did get the ball, but as I said, the CBAs aren't great, so the water's a little bit murky on Peatling for me at the moment. And the last one here is I've got Rosie, who I mentioned with Jason Horne-Francis. I think he's going to play a bit more forward time, so if you're interested in Rosie, I would be watching out for that next week. Then we move on to today's game. So I've got Melbourne v North Melbourne. Harvey Langford, he was really good. He's fairly slow, but his disposal was excellent. I didn't expect his disposal to be that good. He was hitting a lot of tougher kicks, so that was great to see. He got a fair bit of mid-time as well, but I don't expect that to persist as Petrarca and Viney didn't play. But yeah, one to look at. I think there's a slight chance he scores well enough if he does play half forward and he can avoid the sub-vest, which I'm not convinced he's going to avoid the sub-vest. So that's my read on it. But yeah, big body, tackled well, looked pretty good in the contest and used the ball well. So big ticks for Harvey Langford. Xavier Lindsay, I've taken him out of my side. He was mostly unsided. He did play a fair bit of wing, which was probably as expected. Worked into the game a little bit as it got hotter and more uncontested, but for the first half of this game, he was pretty much unsided, didn't do a heap. Caleb Daniel, lock. Let's not waste any time on him. Clayton Oliver, he looked like he was cruising early, but he looks so much better than last season, so I think he's a lock as well. I've got Jacob Constanti next. He pressured all right. He didn't get a lot of the ball because his role's quite bad. It's like forward pocket sort of stuff. So I think he's a no on the rookie front, Jacob Constanti. Harry Sheezel was playing mid forward, which is as expected, not playing half back at all. Colby McKercher was playing forward and wing, no half back time. So that for me is means he's not a pick. The role just generally isn't conducive of good scoring. That's not to say that he can't buck the trend, but statistically speaking, it's unlikely, in my opinion. So that's Colby McKercher. He did play very well though. So, if you want to take a bit of a punt, then maybe he's your man. Luke Parker. I didn't see a lot of Luke Parker, to be honest, and he didn't get much CBA action. The main three mids were Luke Davies-Uniacke, Harry Sheezel and Tom Powell. So he's behind those three. When Wardlaw comes back, he's going to be behind George Wardlaw as well. So I think you can cross Luke Parker off your list as a mid-pricer in the forward line. I've got Finn O'Sullivan next. Played wing. He was okay when he got the ball, but didn't get a heap of it. It was mostly fat side wing. He did actually play the wing okay, kept his width, all that sort of thing, but yeah, didn't accumulate much, which means no SuperCoach points. Unfortunately, you don't get points for keeping your width on the wing. So yeah, he's probably a no from me. I've got Harry Sharp. He kicked 4 goals. Not a guy who was on my radar as a SuperCoach pick before this game really either. I do think he'll play round 1. I think he'll play wing half forward. I also think he would be ahead of Lindsay at the moment if they are going for the same position. Historically speaking, obviously Sharp is still quite young, so this may change, but Sharp hasn't been a good scorer, so one to keep in mind. For mine, I would rather correct to him after round 2 if he's going really well. It looks like he's going to make a lot of cash. And then I've got Aiden Johnson, who came on in the 4th quarter. I think he's a good shot to play third tall the third tall ruck relief role come round 1. I thought he competed a little bit better than Jefferson, who at times was just beaten too easily. So I reckon he's a good chance for round 1, Aiden Johnson. That being said, I'm not sure the job security is very good. So yeah, but one to watch. Okay, I've got St Kilda v Carlton next. First one, Harry Boyd. He was really good in the ruck. He did split a bit of the time with, I think it's Max Heath. But yeah, Boyd was really good when he rucked. So if they do run Rowan and Boyd, which if I was coaching the Saints is what I would do, obviously that's irrelevant because I'm not, but Boyd will score, and I think he's even an on-field option in that case. But I don't think we're going to get another R3, so I think you have to stick him in R3. I've got Angus Hastie next. Played halfback, looked pretty good early, but faded out of the game. Used the ball pretty well when he did have it, though. Not sure if he'll play round 1 with Sinclair coming back into that side. I'm not sure if anyone else was missing who was playing halfback, but maybe the Magnets get shuffled a bit when, your Mason Woods, and there's one other as well. Liam Henry. I think Liam Henry's a fair way off, but maybe the Magnets get shuffled when they come back, and he loses his spot. Not sure, but he was okay. Jackson Binns played wing. He looked all right. His kicking was pretty poor though. So I think he's 170k. I think we've got better options at about that price point. I've got Ollie Hollands next, who started pretty slow and his kicking was pretty poor. Don't love this pick as a mid-pricer, but we'll see. He's got a good work rate. He's not. I still don't think he's a natural sort of accumulator, so I don't think the scoring is going to be massive. He could make some cash though. Maybe makes 100k. That's probably enough for you if you're keeping a rookie who's got a massive sub risk off the field. So keen to get another look at him next week, but for now he's a no for me. Adam Chera, I don't think I cited Chera until the second quarter. I'm not sure if that's because he wasn't playing, but yeah, he was unsighted in the first quarter. He played a little bit better as the match went on, but probably not what you wanted to see. It is a practice match though, so it's hard to know with those like 440 plus types how seriously they're going in the practice match when they've got a secured job come round 1. So. Yep, that's Adam Chera. Hugo Garcia, he is in my side. He got a heap of CBAs and he was almost the best on ground. We get another look next week, but if we didn't, I'd be locking him into your forward line right now. I think he can make 150k easily until Filippo comes back. Just on the Tom De Koning situation, Pinnonet started in the ruck and rucked most of the day. I don't know if this changes with Charlie Curnow back potentially for round 1, but I've been strong on this belief all preseason that if Pinnonet is in the side, you cannot pick De Koning. Pinnonet was in the side, De Koning is out of my side. It's that simple for me. Toby Travaglia, I didn't see him at all. I didn't watch the fourth quarter of this game. I think he came on then, but yeah, I didn't see him at all. So it looks like he is probably not in line for a round 1 debut, which is a shame. I've got Max Hall next. He got plenty of it and looked really good playing like high half forward for the Saints. He's a bit taller, but used the ball really well, was decent in the contest. He's found his way onto my mid-bench. These cheaper guys who I think can make the money are pretty valuable, so trying to lock some of them in is a good idea in my opinion. So yeah, he's on the bench for me there. And the last one I've got here is Jagger Smith, who was really, really underwhelming. Obviously, it's his first game. He's slightly built, so it might take him a bit longer to come on. But yeah, he was virtually unsighted early, and he wasn't getting many CBAs. This is without Walsh in the side. I had thought that he was a lock early, but I am really... again, he's not in my side at the moment, as you can see. So yeah, it's a little bit concerning for Jagger Smith come round 1. I think when Walsh is there, he's going to be a bit of a sub risk. That's my read on it for now. I think he'll play, but I think he'll get vested off. So yeah, that is my first week of preseason notes down. If you wanted the first 4 games, I discussed them briefly, in detail. The only brief one was the Indigenous All-Stars v Freo game. But I've discussed in my last video, so check those out if you're interested. And yeah, let's talk this team. Starting in defence, Sicily at D1, it's probably one of the lighter defences you've seen. I just really dislike all the defender primos at the moment. I think Whitfield has the bye and has a James Jordan tag right before upgrade season, so I think I can get him relatively quickly with relative... Well, he's going to be cheap, I think. Whitfield does have really good matchups early, so he might even be a captain option early, but does have the bye as well. Obviously, I've got a lot of plays in this defence with the bye, so that doesn't faze me. But yeah, don't like Whitfield for that reason. Sheasley, I think, is overpriced. He doesn't have that, that North Melbourne gulling role, which isn't going to be as good this year anyway, I don't believe. North looked like they were going to take the game on more and actually try and win games from the start of the season this year rather than, round 10. But yeah, I think Sicily is the only defender primo that I actually really like. I don't believe in this forward time nonsense that we're hearing about. If it does happen, it's not going to be much. So yeah, I really like Sicily. Tom Stewart I have there at the moment. This could be Max Holmes. I thought Tom Stewart was okay in the match sim. The role was okay, still getting some CBAs. So yeah, I think with Tom Stewart and Max Holmes, that's going to be a call to make after round 0. I'm going to have no idea really until then. So he's in there for now, but I have contingencies for if I don't like Tom Stewart. Jayden Short, I discussed in my first team review how much I didn't like Jayden Short. But Richmond seemed to me to be trying to play keepings off more than they were trying to win the early preseason game against West Coast. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to persist in round 1. However, I do think that Richmond, with the Noah Bolter out and all sorts of, it's a young team. I think early on they are going to try and protect the ball more than actually trying to take the game on and win. Now, Short has never played that way. He's never been like a chip mark junker type player. But he's probably going to have to play that way if that's what the coach wants. So, yeah, Short's in there for now. I think this price point's kind of weird because he's a stepping stone but not going to make much cash. I don't think he'll be a top 8 defender, but he could. You never know. But I think it's unlikely. The reason I like Short over Chera, because they're at a similar price, is that the defender rookies look so much worse than the midfield rookies. So yeah, I'm more happy to put my stepping stones in defence than in the midfield for now. Callum Mills playing midfield, enough said. I spoke about Miller before. Again, we'll need another look when Isaac Cumming comes back. And then for the rookies, I've got Connor O'Sullivan, who was excellent against Hawthorn, and then Caleb Smith and Zach Reid on the bench. I think Caleb Smith plays round 1. I think the Hugo Rouse Smith injury helps that. As I said in my review of the West Coast v Richmond game as well, I thought he was better than Trezise, Banks, and I think there's another that's going for that like half-back role. So I think he'll be in for now. I don't know if the sub-risk is there. But yeah, I liked what I saw, so he's in there for now. And Zach Reid, provided he makes it to round 1, will be there in round 1, you would think. So I think he's got some of the best job security of all the rookies, I think. So he's a lock, in my opinion. The guys I don't have that I really like the look of are Harry Perryman and Sam De Koning. Sam De Koning looks like he's playing the first ruck role for Geelong. I do think the pick smells bad because it is Geelong and we don't know what they're going to do with their rucks, but he is definitely an option. And Harry Perryman, bulk CBAs, I am definitely interested in. He's probably another stepping stone, but as I said, I don't mind having these stepping stones in defence because I don't like the premiums and I don't like the rookies. So, yeah, that's the defence line. And then I've got in the midfield, I've got Zach Butters. I've spoken a lot about Butters, just a good captain option early. They have a soft fixture, so that's why I like the pick. The only one, he's one of 2 expensive guys in my whole team, so I think he probably will, he definitely will lose money. It's just, I think it'll happen a lot later because that early fixture is so good. Andrew Brayshaw at M2. I didn't watch the Indigenous v Freo game at all, so I don't have any updated opinions on Brayshaw. Just like the fixture, like the role, like the scoring at the back of last year. And I think Sarong gets the tags. Petrarca hasn't played yet. I think he was in full training, not yesterday, but the day before. So he will look to play next week. And I will want to look at the role. I am considering bailing on the pick because there are guys that I like, and I might want another mid-pricer, I think, to get another rookie off-field potentially, but we'll see how we go with that. And then I've got Jordan Dawson in the middle. I really like Dawson, massive on this pick. Think he's back to 2023 type scoring. Clary is a lock. And then O'Driscoll, Sardis, and Ashcroft as expensive rookies. I've got Nevitt in the flex as well. They're the four like higher priced. Nevitt's not really higher priced, but they're my four favourite mid rookies at the moment. There's some consensus not some consensus. There's some mixed opinions on whether or not Nevitt is best 22, but we get round 1 to have a look. Round 0 to have a look. So that's my thoughts on those guys. O'Driscoll, I think, is very safe because he'll play wing, and I don't really think he's a sub risk. He wasn't really subbed off in his first season playing in the ones. So yeah, I really like O'Driscoll. Sardis, I'm not sure what happens when Parrish comes back to Sardis, and same with Durham. So pretty keen to get a look in round 0. Obviously, Parrish won't be there, but maybe Durham can make cash quickly enough that Parrish not being there, or Parrish coming back after 3 or 4 weeks doesn't really matter. And then on the bench, I spoke about Angove and Hall. I did hear today that Elijah Hewitt was playing in the B team for West Coast Match Sim, but that might have just been to even up midfield. So still have him in there. I'd be staggered if West Coast didn't play him in round 1. In the ruck line, I've got Max Gawn. I've spoken about Max Gawn a lot. Really like the pick for the expensive ruck over Cherry, because I think Cherry is overpriced, and well, obviously Max is as well. But Max's ceiling is better, so the captain scores are better. I think Cherry's going to regress more than Max is. So yeah, that's my opinion on those two. Tim English. I spoke in my initial team review how I didn't like Tim English either. Same with Short. I just hate the ruck line at the moment. Like, I've considered Briggs, but I can't get a read on Briggs at all. I don't like Nankervis coming off a career year at 30. Oh gosh, who else? I had Nick Bryan in there for a little bit, but I don't know if he gets enough of the ruck pie, and I think he might be a sub-risk. So I'm sort of lost in the rucks. Let me know what you think about the ruck line. I am considering just paying up for Cherry, even though I am against the pick. But we'll see. English did play in the intra-club, and they didn't sign Crossley, so those seem to be positives for him. Boyd I spoke about in the reviews. I think he should be locked onto your bench for now until we get any indication that he isn't playing in round 1. Then the forward line, Jason Horne-Francis. I think he'll get the extra midfield time. I think this pick with Port's early fixture has the potential to go sour if you anti-pot it. So I'm just going to save myself the trouble and get him in. I will say I do really like Isaac Rankin as well. He's one I'm considering with the Petrarca slot too. I want to see the midfield time though, with the whole Crows midfield in there. So that's my thoughts on those two. Jack McRae wasn't overly impressive today, but I struggle to believe he won't go at least 90. So happy to pick him for that in forward line. Bailey Smith, same thing. Caleb Daniel, same thing, honestly. Can't see how he doesn't go 90. He was good today though, so he's the absolute main distributor coming out of that North back line. So I think he's the biggest lock in SuperCoach this year. Hugo Garcia I talked about in the reviews, got bulk mid-time and played really well, so pretty confident that he will make that 150k. Sam Powell-Pepper I also discussed, same with Joe Berry. Didn't see much from Sam Powell-Pepper in the game, but liked the role. Same with Joe Berry, did see a fair bit from, thought the role was okay. Got him on the bench for now. I could swing Hall or Ango forward for Joe Berry, so that's one I'm keeping in mind if I need another one of these mid rookies. Davidson I think is a lock, so yeah, that's the team. Obviously, so we've got another round of practice matches next week. I don't know how much the team will change based on that. It will probably only be rookies, if anything. I do have my eyes on Riley Sanders, Ollie Hollands, and James Peatling, so I want to have another look at those guys. They may come in. I already spoke about Sam de Koning and Perryman as well, so they're the 5 players that I'm really watching with an eagle eye next week. A lot of them play in round 0 as well, so I won't have to make the call on them until after that, which is good. But yeah, let's have a quick sneak peek at the rookie guide before the end of the video. So this is what I've got. It's a little bit hard to look at because it's in Excel, but yeah, so I'll just quickly sort of try and describe what's going on here. So we've got player name obviously here. Job security. So if I think a player has high job security, that means I think they are very likely to play in round 1. And I'm not sure it's because of injury. So, for example, Elijah Sardis, I think even if Parrish was playing, that Sardis would get a go. So that's why his job security is high. Let's have a look. So Levi Ashcroft, for example, I have as medium. That's because I'm not convinced he is best 23 because Brisbane's a really hard side to crack into. But I think if he is best 23, you should be picking him. So yeah, SP's scoring power. So let's use another example here. Zach Reid playing fullback. I think he can give you 60s. That's what I have at about medium. Sardis, I think, can give you 70 plus. So that's what I would say is high. And then these lows are guys who I don't think will score enough to make enough money. For example, I don't think Curtin's role is going to be good enough to make the required money. SR is sub-risk. Now, it's really hard to predict sub-risk. So basically the way I've done it is they're listed as a medium if I think that they are competing with another teammate for that last slot. I'll use Levi Ashcroft again. So he may be in the best 22, but does he get subbed out at 3/4 time for that 23rd guy who's playing a similar role? So that's my logic there. So for a low, Zach Reid playing fullback, pretty unlikely to get subbed out. And then the highs are mostly guys who I'll use Sid Draper as an example, I guess. I don't think he's quite ready for full AFL minutes. I think that's what the practice match showed. He's also being managed, so that's why Sid Draper's like a high sub risk, for example. Harvey Langford, I think, is ready for AFL game time. However, I think that he is, again, pushing that 22nd, 23rd type. He's also slow, which tends to get subbed off later in games. So just something to keep in mind there. And then EI is expected roles. So, for example, like mid or halfback, these are good roles, whereas forward pocket is not a role that is conducive of good scoring. And then I've got on field. If that is a yes or a green, I think you can put this guy on field relatively safely in their respective line and get a decent score. The ends are players who I wouldn't confidently put on field, but you may have to, obviously, with buys, etc. So yeah, that's the team, that's the round reviews, and that's the rookie guide for now. The next video that I put out will be after the next round of practice matches. I'll try after that to do a little bit more content around defenders, mids, rucks, and forwards, just like have an individual video for each of them, just talking through my thoughts, players I like, the players I'm not sold on, the players I need to look at in round 0, that sort of thing. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, see you next time.